Welcome back to The Burn. Today we are talking with the Miss Kelly Johnson. She is a career coach, and I just hope you can sit down, listen for 20 to 30 minutes, and maybe burn some ideas for your career, or just listen to a cool individual. So, hi, Miss Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Chloe. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being my first. I thought it was very fitting for a kind of career-based podcast. So I just want to get started and just give us your background. What do you do? Where are you from? Just the whole 9 yards.
Oh, wow. So if you talk about what I do first, so as you mentioned, one of the things I do in my career is career coaching. I own a business. I've owned a business for 8 years. I started out doing healthcare growth marketing, which I do as part of my services. But over the last couple of years, I've expanded into coaching, either career coaching or business coaching, and I love it. So I love career coaching and helping people that are from their college age all the way up to 50, 60 years old find their ideal career for them that matches with their lives. And I've landed in that because I kind of struggled finding where I belonged. I graduated from UGA with a high GPA, all these leadership awards, kind of landed in a first career, but never really felt fulfilled. So I went through kind of a journey in my life of like, where do I belong? What will bring me fulfillment while also giving me the balance I want for my family? And so after, I tell people I kind of found my why when I was 47 years old, and I'm 49 now. So find my why is really helping people find the career that fits for them. So they don't just have to settle in a career that is not right for them. They're in a career that really brings them joy and fulfillment and satisfaction every day. So that's what I do.
That's amazing, honestly. That's just such a big problem in today's youth, especially. Like, you get out of college, you have just like, have this degree. What do I do with it?
It's so common, Chloe. It's so common, and I love working with that early career because, again, I was that person. I'm like, what are my strengths? I know some of them. What are my passions? I think these are my passions. What is there a demand for, and what will I get paid for? Those are kind of the four, fundamental things you need to be looking for. But I didn't really know. I mean, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was a business owner, but they never really exposed me to careers. So I love working with those early careers to help them understand, okay, you may not have had like real jobs that you're doing something day to day, but all the skills you've learned not only from your life or your side jobs or college, you have skills that you've learned that can translate into a business job. So like we take that's kind of where we start in our career assessment. Like what are your strengths? What are your passions? And then how do we see what jobs match that? And I think it's so eye-opening. It's so eye-opening being like, oh, okay. I was a teacher before, but that teacher, what I've learned as a teacher, can easily translate into all these other jobs. Or I was, just coming out of college and I worked at a fast food restaurant. Okay, well, what did you learn there that can translate into all these other jobs? And it's really eye-opening to be like, oh, now I get it. Like there's a lot of jobs out there that I'm qualified for or that I could do. But that's just step one, right? Like you can qualify for all these, but what matches your lifestyle? What matches where you want to be? Like, do you want to go after money? Or do you want, to go after making sure you have balance in your life for family? And, you may have to make some concessions based on what you decide there. But that's kind of where I like to go, is, again, finding your strengths, finding these jobs, and then where does that match with what are your non-negotiables and what you really want in a career. And it's really fulfilling to see people when they understand and kind of it all comes together. It's just really fun to see their expressions and their confidence in themselves after they realize it.
So would you say it's like a very personalized process? Like,
it depends on how I'm coaching. So I have different programs. So I have one-on-one coaching that I do that you're really diving into you. So say like you, and I do that a lot for people in their mid-career. Like, so for example, I'm working with a 50-year-old man. He just couldn't figure out where he belonged. I mean, he's 50 years old and he still couldn't figure out where he belonged. So that's a one-on-one, deeply understanding him and really walking alongside him as he figured it out. 2 weeks ago, he just got a job offer that he's extremely thrilled with. Like, we started in October. Every week we met for an hour every week, like really walking through different things that he needed to do to set himself up to find that career that worked for him. But then for the earlier careers, I either do individual or I do a cohort model. Okay. So bringing people in, so for example, 8 people that are early career, and then I have a curriculum. So for example, like we talked about there's a lot of things for early career that they don't know. Yeah. So we'd start with an assessment. We go over, how do you build your personal brand? How do you network? How do you interview? How do you negotiate? Mm-hmm. So we'll have a curriculum around it, but then towards the end of each session, so it's an 8-week program, we have interaction. So people within the group can say, okay, well, I just saw an interview for a job here at Coca-Cola. It wasn't right for me, but maybe you would like to do it. So it's like you're starting to network and develop that network, which is so crucial at a really young age, so that you're going to build upon that in your career. So long story to say, it's a model that's best for the coachee. That's what we decide upon. They decide if they want a group or individual based on their needs.
You didn't mention that it was very fulfilling for you. So do you have any favorite stories?
Oh, I have many favorite stories. I have been coaching my whole life. So I was an athlete in college. I was a leader on the team, coaching throughout my early career. But if I had to pick one, not just from my coaching business now, I mentored someone when I worked at Emory Healthcare many, many, many years ago. And this, I say mentor, was coaching at the time. She was an intern at Emory Healthcare Marketing under me. And within 10 years, she went from an intern to the COO of the University of Virginia health system.
Oh, wow.
Within 10 years. And she credits that a lot to the work I did with her to truly believe in herself and to empower her to do what she does best. I mean, I knew she was extremely talented, extremely bright. And instead of me controlling what she did, I said, you own this. You own this project, you move it forward. Mm-hmm. And I gave her all the credit because she deserved it. She did it. Whereas a lot of times in business, people take credit for the work that other people do. Mm-hmm. But she's built her leadership model upon what we did working with her.
You just kind of guided it.
And so she now her leadership model is about empowerment and building people up. And that's so important in the business world because that's not normal in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. It's more, okay, I want to rise to the top and whatever it takes to get there. Yeah. But if we can change the culture to be collaborative and realize that other people's strengths are not a threat to our intelligence, you bring people that are smarter than you around you, then you all get built up.
Collaborative betterment.
Collaborative, yes, and that's what she learned. So that's one example on from my work in the business world. In terms of actual paid coaching, one person I'm working with right now, she is early to mid-career. She hired me because she wanted to find a new job. Well, the first thing we did though was I realized she didn't have confidence in herself. So she had no confidence in herself. And if you're going to go out looking for a job, the first thing you need to do, you've got to believe in yourself. Yeah. You've got to believe in yourself. And if you don't, then all the work we do after it won't matter. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things we did, and this was an individual one-on-one session, I asked her to go start talking to people and getting recommendations on her LinkedIn account. And then she started seeing how other people saw her. Oh, okay. So she was like, oh, look, I guess I am valuable. I guess I can do the skill sets. And I knew she could do the skill sets because someone referred her to me and said she was brilliant and amazing. So I knew she had the skill to do the job, but she had no confidence that she could do that. So that was super eye-opening for her. And then the second part, she would listen to her head and start beating herself up when she made a mistake or she, thought someone was better than her. So we just talked about the fact that your thoughts aren't real. Your thoughts in your head are not real. You're criticizing yourself, but nobody else is criticizing you. You are criticizing yourself. So she constantly tells me in our session, we've been working together since October as well, had a session this week. She's like, I remind myself that all the time. When something negative comes into my head, I'm reminding myself those thoughts aren't real, and it's helping me overcome issues. So she's gone from this person who had all the skills but no confidence to she's flourishing. And so this week we talked through communication and executive presence because she wants to be a leader. She wants to be a leader in an organization. But again, if she has no confidence and she's coming across, not as an executive, she's not going to get there. So she's a really perfect example of someone who listens and applies it. And she's growing exponentially just because she wants it, and she's going to get it because she's putting in the work on her side.
Good for her,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did hear you mention you've been coaching all your life and like the translation of skills. So like how does athletic coaching translate to career coaching?
Well, so again, I was an athlete and a leader. I didn't coach very much there, but I coached, again, mentored. I was a leader on my team, was co-captain of the University of Georgia swim team back in the day. But it's all about leadership, right? And so I love, and I've always loved, building others up. So, part of coaching is helping others see their potential.
Yeah.
And, you're an athlete as well. So that big part of sports is your mental side. A big part of sports. You could be the best athlete out there and not have any confidence, and you're not going to win. So that's kind of how it translates. You got the mental game together, and so that's what I teach my people now is the mental game, and then the confidence, and then building them up to believe in themselves. That's if you ask any of my people I coach, they're like, you truly want me to see me succeed, because I do. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them go do amazing things.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what I learned from sports is, teamwork and collaboration and building people up to be better because of the mental side. Same in the career. It's the same in the career. You can't be successful in a career if you have no confidence and you're not mentally strong, and have people believe in you. So that's a big part of my coaching practice. I won't accept people who I don't feel like I can help or who don't want to help themselves. I want people who are invested and I see that potential, and I just help them get there. And again, it's not me doing anything groundbreaking. It's just getting them to believe in themselves.
Yeah, it's the first step. Yeah. So do you find like any downsides with your career ever?
Well, so now I've built my ideal career. So if you had asked me that question 2 years ago, I would have had a different answer. I built a business, and by society's term, I was successful, but I still missed. There was something that was missing. And so I went on this journey of what brings me ultimate satisfaction. And I've always, as I mentioned, I've mentored and coached and matched people to jobs all throughout my career, but I didn't realize I could actually do it as part of my career.
Yeah.
So now I've built a business where in even the marketing work that I'm doing, I'm coaching and mentoring and strategizing, which I really enjoy. And then I have hired people who do the work like on the day-to-day side. And then I've added the coaching side. So I can balance two things that I really love within one career. So is every day perfect? No, it's not. But I'm working harder than I ever have, and I'm working really, long hours, and I'm working really hard. But I'm building my business, and a business that's not just serving myself, it's serving the community and everybody I touch, and it's extremely fulfilling, and that's my purpose. That's my why. I don't need to be a COO. I don't need to be, owner of, Coca-Cola or some big business, but I own a business that is making an impact on everybody and people every day, and that's really fulfilling for me.
It's the biggest payoff, really.
It really is. It really is.
So, in your life, what skills has career coaching brought you, and what kind of impact has it played in your day-to-day life?
Well, I'm learning every day. Every day. I learn something every day. I'm 49 years old. I learn something new every day from almost everybody I work with or interact. So I'm a person who is constantly thriving to learn. So from a career coaching perspective, if you had asked me 3 years ago if I would have been able to do this and make money off of it, I would have been like, okay, maybe, because there's a ton of people out there who do it. There's a lot of people who do coaching. I think there's 60,000 people who do coaching. So when I first started I have an executive coach myself, so I work with her. I was just texting her a second ago. I work with her frequently, and she's helped me get to where I need to be. But again, she walked alongside me to help me get the confidence that I could actually build a business. I knew I could do it. That was not a question. It was more of, can I build a business and make money off of it? Yeah. Because I've built my name and my reputation all around what I've done in the healthcare space, in marketing. So now this is looking at a different audience group. It's looking at individuals who are building. So it's taught me how to build a business in a different way, not just with businesses, but with individual consumers. So it's still a journey. Again, I'm not fully where I want to be on my career coaching side because it can still build, but I'm networking daily, I'm making connections daily, I have people reaching out to me about partnerships daily. So now my next step is really how do I build it so that I can build it to sell, like build a business either to pass on to my children or build it to sell, because there's a model, I've built a model on the coaching side that's very sustainable and that I can replicate it, I can teach others how to do it, and then I can build even more programs underneath it. So that's where my next step in it is really expanding it, bringing in people to help me. So that'll be another learning curve that I'll address when I get there. Yep.
You're always growing. That's amazing. So with the money side of it, the passion, how does practicality play into passion when finding a career? Some people want to be an author, but this doesn't have the money to do so.
So that is, when I work with my career people, you have to take that in consideration, right? You have your strengths, right? You have your passion, which again could be an author. You have demand. So there's a website out there that you can look, what is the demand for real estate agents or whatever? What does that demand look like? And then where can you make money? And that's where you have to find that balance, right? So in my business, I can make money very easily. I mean, I could grow my business extremely far. I grow it as far as I want. But when I'm working with the career people, that's to your point of practicality. Could you go out and start a surf shop? Not in Madison. It's not going to make any sense. Is that your passion? Yes. But it's not going to make any sense here. Yeah. So really helping them understand, okay, could you start a surf shop? Yes. But why don't you go somewhere where it makes sense? And maybe you do that as a side, I'm saying a surf shop can't be a side hustle, but in some ways people can use their passion as a side hustle, get a career, and then, okay, let's look at whatever this other side passion is and make it a side hustle. And then if you can grow it, then you can make it into your business. If you see that the demand's there, that you can make money and people want what you have to offer, that's what I tell them. Again, I would love for people to totally go after their passion, but there is that practical angle of how do you do it in a sustainable way that if you have a family or you need to make money to pay your bills, that you're doing it in a smart and strategic way.
Yeah, okay. Because I know some people get so headstrong in the passion portion that they don't think about what they have to pay for or what it is to have a house or things such as that. But if you go at it that way,
you're very right. And you're very smart to think of it that way. And some people don't, and they learn the hard way, and then they ended up in a career they don't like. But again, they could do both if they did it strategically from the beginning. How do you look at that from a side hustle perspective, potentially, and then see where it goes from there? And then it could explode.
Yeah. So if someone showed interest in career coaching, how would you go about growing that?
That's a great question. So for me, the reason I'm successful is partially because of my career, but I can teach people a lot of these things that I'm doing, especially on the early career stage, like communication skills and negotiation. I can teach people. So it's getting with someone that can be a trainer to help you do that. I also am finishing up my ICF certification. So I'm done all my training. I just have to take the test. I just got the notification that I can take the test. And so once I pass that test, I'm certified as an ICF coach. That doesn't make me, you don't have to have ICF certification to be a coach, but it helped train me in some of the areas that I might not have known. So some of the things that I've worked into my practice, I got from the training I did as an ICF coach and my ICF certification. But there's tons of training programs out there, but if you have no knowledge of, career coaching at all, I would start with an ICF certification at some point. And then if you could work as an employed person in an organization that hires people to be career coach, and then you get trained, and then eventually you could start your own business if you felt like you wanted to do that. But there's many career coaching firms out there that you could work for and not start your own initially.
Okay, would networking be a major aspect in that too?
In finding
just like a job in career coaching?
Well, networking is important in every stage of your career. So I have built my business completely on networking. I've gotten every job I've ever had from networking. I've gotten almost every client that I've had from networking. And then in terms of building your business as a career coach, it's very important to network, to find people who potentially could refer to you, or to partner with you in some way to help build the business. Like maybe there's a partnership around me and a recruiter. Like if I worked with a recruiter to say, okay, I would love to work with your new hire, these people that you're working with when they're hired. I would love to work with them to help them set themselves up for success the first 90 days of their job. And that's a part of career coaching as well. Like how do you set them up for success? So networking is huge in all areas of business, and from career coaching to any other industry.
So do you have any strategies for job hunting in this upcoming year that will it be in career coaching or just finding a career in general? Let's say those fresh out of college.
Okay. Yes, so fresh out of college, many fresh out of college individuals have not done that work to networking. So I'd actually, if they have gotten out of college and haven't found a job, then they're behind, honestly. But first of all, number one is networking.
Yeah.
Who do you know? Your friends, your parents' friends, your sorority sisters, parents, anybody you know that can have informational interviews with you. That's number one, right? Like, and I say that's number one. That's if you have an idea of where you want to be and what kind of job you want. If you don't know what kind of job that you actually want to go for, again, having those informational interviews may help you. But I would recommend either going to your career center at wherever university you're in, or hiring a career coach that can walk alongside you and say, okay, here's some strengths that you have, here's where they'll fit. Most jobs right now, and it's just, depending on the source, it's different. Between 60 and 90% of jobs are found through networking, or are jobs that aren't listed, and you're gonna find them by networking. So, a lot of people make the mistake of, I'm gonna go to LinkedIn, I'm gonna go to Indeed, and I'm just gonna start applying to every job on there.
Yeah.
And if you see, you can see on LinkedIn how many people are applying for those same jobs. And then they're using AI to create their resume. And so they look like every other person that's going through and applying. They're not doing any work to follow up with any hiring managers, or they're not doing any work to develop their personal brand. That's going to not be a winning game in the hiring. It's in this environment. What I'm hearing for new grads is that it's very hard to find a job. One, because the people who've hired them in the past few years, new grads, they're not coming out with strong communication skills. They're not coming out with strong work ethic. So it's been a challenge for new grads, even if you do have the communication skills and work ethic, that the whole generation has a bad reputation. So if you're able to position yourself, and that's what we go through in the program, like how do you build that personal brand? How do you develop those communication skills? How do you interview strong, like how do you develop strong interview skills? How do you answer questions with explanations and not just short snippets? So those are all things, they're not groundbreaking, but if they don't know how to do it and you've never been taught, it's gonna be hard for new grads to find jobs. So again, I'm not gonna say I'm the only person out there to help. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of resources out there, starting with the Career Center, but you should really start, early as you can. I have a senior in high school as well. I talked to her about the importance of networking now. You're developing now that connections that you're gonna have that may help you 20 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now. Yeah. But that's where you're starting. And then even developing your LinkedIn presence when she has a LinkedIn presence now. She's built out her LinkedIn. She's connecting with people. She's starting to post. So I'm working with her from a young age, because again, you set yourself up in college, like from an early age, or, even high school, you're going to be so far ahead of someone that's getting out of college and they haven't started anything. But they may have a 4.0 GPA, and they may, be on paper just brilliant. But if you can't communicate anything that you've learned, or haven't done the work to network, and just expect that job to land in your lap, you're going to be behind. You can get back on track. It's not going to happen overnight.
The networking is what I'm saying.
Networking is huge.
So it's my final question is, where do you see career coaching's future in the next 5 to 10 years? Growing, becoming more widely accepted or widely used?
Coaching is increasing as an industry. There's a lot of people who have gotten in the industry. And it ranges on what people specialize in. I love, like, as I mentioned, that early career. There's a lot more opportunity in that early career, as I mentioned, because so many people come out without those skills they need to succeed in the business world. So there's a lot of opportunity in that early career segment, but there's still a lot of opportunity in, 25, 30, 45, 50. One, if they've lost their job and now they need to figure out where they go next. Two, if they're like in a job that they hate, where do they go next? Say you're in a job and you want to get to the next level in your career. That fits in within career coaching as well, because you are then developing those skills like executive presence or communication that will help you get to the next level. So it's a growing field, and it depends in terms of where it's going to mostly grow is with businesses. So businesses bringing these people on to help their organization. Well, bringing people on from a leadership perspective, people who are changing jobs, that's a little bit different. But there's a lot of potential in this industry because we all can find value in walking alongside a coach in your journey, because we don't know everything, right? Again, I have a coach, and I will never, unless she fires me, I'm never going to fire her. Because what I learned from her and her helping me get to where I need to be in terms of helping me develop that plan myself that I'm going to follow, it's invaluable. So as people start to understand and learn that, and the value of that is priceless. Like, I'm paying a lot of money to my career coach, but I don't even look at that, because the value she offers me and helps me get to where I need to be it's so priceless. So same thing with career coaching. People have to understand, yes, there's a cost associated with it if your business is not paying, but the value you're going to get back in terms of your career growing at a faster level to where you want it to be, or more fulfillment. Maybe it's not going to grow at a faster level, but more fulfillment to where you want to be in your life. And that's really priceless.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for your time and knowledge about career coaching. I felt the burn today, and I hope you did too, because the more we hear, the more you learn. Have a great morning, afternoon, or night, and I will burn you next time. See ya.